Alright guys, welcome back to our third match of the day. It's, fourth. Third match. You know, it's also back and forth now. I honestly can't keep track, but we are in the lower bracket. I know that for sure. We are in the lower bracket because we are watching Onyx and Enchantress go up now against each other, and as I like to say about the lower bracket, it's this do or die moment, right? If you lose at this point, you get eliminated, but if you win, you proceed on, you get a chance to fight all the way back up to the semi-finals and probably make it into the finals to get a chance to qualify and represent Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia as the FSL representatives.
Alright, so no tilt allowed as we see Volibear actually locked in. We have seen Volibear support a few times.
Volibear support and Volibear top. I think even last week there was a Volibear top. But that being said, there is some synergy against the Jarvan. I will talk about that later on. I was actually just doing some research about this, about why Volibear has seen a rise to popularity. Yuumi, Jarvan, however, not surprising at all as they will be locked in. Very strong power picks that were left open will be taken away.
Right, Draven locked in. I think you were talking a little bit about this. Gonna be paired up with the Karma, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be a Karma in the bot lane, but the Draven is for sure going to be AD carry. And like, I remember back when I used to play solo queue climbing up to like diamond-ish, and Joss, Dazai has another account, like I think it's called Joss, Jauss, and that account didn't have any games of Draven on it, right? So she would play that to practice ADC, but there wouldn't be any Draven games on it. But now on her actual account, which is Dazai, she actually has a ridiculous amount of Draven games, like a lot of Draven games, like high mastery Draven, right? So it's like a secret thing, like it's a pocket pick that you have to know about to prepare for, otherwise you probably won't even know if you're scouting just her account itself.
Brain mental Right. Ilaoi and Kled.
Yeah, okay, the Ilaoi pick, rather the Ilaoi ban is interesting because I feel like a lot of people are pretty upset with the state of Ilaoi now, especially if you follow the League of Legends subreddit. The counterplay to her the thing where she pulls her spirit, I can't remember what's it called. But basically she makes you a vessel, right? And then like the only way you can make the duration go down is if you deal damage to her. They remove that portion. Now now the damage sticks no matter what. Like your spirit is just there, and you cannot trade back. There's literally no way for you to trade back. So a lot of people feel like Irelia is Ilaoi is super annoying to play with in the top lane.
They probably think Irelia is pretty annoying to play with as well. They're taking it off the board. Along with Malphite, so the top lane pool right now is very pinched. Wondering what they're gonna go for instead. Oh, they're gonna lock it in. Yes. Okay, it's Olaf.
So Olaf top lane here. Most definitely should be a top lane Olaf actually to perhaps answer the Volibear. The value of Olaf is the early game dueling strength. Like Olaf has consistently been a very strong duelist, especially now Conqueror in part of the pool. Previously Olaf was sort of the default predator sort of jungler, right? But now Conqueror is actually a decent choice. If you put him in the top lane, Conqueror is for sure your better pick. I think you could do Grasp of the Undying, but I personally prefer Conqueror because it makes your true damage deal a lot more, hurt a lot more when it comes to proccing Conqueror.
Right, waiting for this last pick to see where everyone goes. So it's gonna be Renekton top, Nocturne jungle, Volibear support, and Karma.
Yep.
Okay.
Seems to be a case right there. I think you figured out Chufan earlier to the punch than me. You beat me there.
Right. So where should this Olaf go then? Since early game good duelist. I think against Renekton will chunk you out pretty far.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So they showed the Olaf a bit too early, and because of that, the response is like, well, if you want to play a duelist in the top side, you want to play a bruiser, Renekton will deal with that pretty well. So there was a mistake in draft. I think personally I felt that was a drafting mistake. What they could have done was hide the Olaf until last pick because you already knew it was more or less Karma in the mid lane, or at least some sort of variation of a mage.
Okay, so Olaf probably gonna lose a bit against Renekton, especially earlier on in the lane. Renekton gonna be that de facto lane bully. Meanwhile, Karma Orianna actually, I don't know.
This is ping pong. This is a lane that is just looking to shove back and forth. And at level 6, you could look to make something happen. Orianna, Jarvan, of course, have some kill pressure early on, but for the most part, you don't expect any solo kills to come out. It's just when the junglers come in. The Jarvan does have early pressure pre-6, but post-6, it's the Nocturne that's going to be able to counter gank and make this 2v2 a bit more dicey.
But Draven Volibear versus Jinx Yuumi, I think, is the real question here. Draven Volibear definitely should have the advantage in lane. I think it's gonna be whenever you have a Draven, it's gonna be a kill lane. Against Jinx Yuumi. Now, I don't really like this lane because I prefer Jinx paired up with someone that can engage and protect her slightly better than the cat. Of course, Jinx being a bit of a immobile AD carry, so it's just going to be two bodies in one in that lane.
Along the same line, I hate Yuumi with non-mobile AD carries because the moment you are attached to a non-mobile AD carry and they engage on you, you guys are like all in. You have to burn a summoner spell, right? That's why we tend to see some combinations of Yuumi Lucian, Yuumi Sivir who has a spell shield, Yuumi Ezreal, these kind of champions that are either able to play safe and just sit on the base, sit on the turret rather, and farm like Sivir, or you have some sort of dash to get out of trouble, right? For the most part though, Draven Volibear will be looking to engage on top of the Jinx, and brush control is going to be super vital in this matchup. If Draven can get the wave to a position where it's frozen, and the side brush is being threatened by the Volibear, there's actually a lot of kill pressure in this 2v2.
Yep.
I remember earlier in this pick and ban, I wanted to talk about the synergy or the value of the Volibear against Jarvan. When I was doing some research, I realized that actually, Volibear's E, the Majestic Roar, knocks up champions during dashes.
Huh.
Yeah, so if you're dashing towards or in the midst of dashing against Volibear and he presses E, it knocks you out of the dash and it deals 8% of your max health as damage.
Only if you knocks you out of dash? Or...
Yeah, so during a dash or if you're mid-air, basically, right? So the normal combo is you go for the Rolling Thunder, you flip him up in the air, then you press E. Talks more damage, right? But if Jarvan is coming to gank you and he flagging and drags in, you could actually E him out of it. You could deny the knockup by Eing during the dash, and it actually denies a lot of the engage potential. It allows you to turn it around as well. So that's a cool little mechanic that we could hope to see in the bot lane. If Jarvan is a bit too overeager, dashes into the Volibear, he knocks him up, you can actually turn the gank around, especially because you have a Draven with you.
So effectively, this Jinx Yuumi is pretty much condemned to lose this lane. I mean, Jarvan can't really come in for effective gank. And based on my personal experience, unless you make sure there is sufficient distance between the Jinx and the Volibear, if he runs at you, you're not going to have enough time to put down your Flame Chompers. So he is going to get a knockup.
Yep. So pretty much this bot lane is like doomed from the start. And I feel like when I saw Dazai in the roster, because I wasn't particularly sure which account he was going to use for this tournament, it's like, oh man, if it's this Draven, they should probably know, like, you should ban Draven, but I guess they didn't, and now she got her one trick, and things are gonna go awry here.
So across the board,
Enchantress.
Renekton's gonna win top, mid lane's gonna be ping pong, and Draven Volibear's gonna win bot. So Onyx Esports definitely coming out ahead in this draft. We're gonna have to
I wouldn't go so fast to say win, but they do have lane pride.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But they do, sort of win the draft.
When it comes to taking, like, because the idea of people winning trades, I'm going to put my cup down and try to describe this, right?
Okay.
When you say win a lane, it basically entails both parties handshaking a trade and taking a fight. You can opt to not do that or just say, I'll take the loss. That's when you get lane prio, right? So the idea of winning lane versus lane prio is very important. If you are Jinx, Yuumi, you say, well, I think I can take this fight, and they, for some reason, decide to go all in also, yeah, you win that lane. But otherwise, you just concede lane prio over, and you just sit on the turret and farm.
I think the idea right now, right, is if the top lane and the bot lane are able to, just freeze the lane, in an unfavorable position for Jinx, Yuumi, and Olaf, I think if Olaf has to walk up and use his axe, that's a lot of mana burn. So to farm against the freeze is the main issue here.
Effectively, when we say win lane in that sense, yeah, you're starving them out of CS, you're starving them out of EXP, and if they walk up, you punish by coming in for a gank. That's how we, interpret win lane. But I'll be honest, not a lot of people are good at freezing waves. Not a lot of people understand that if you're hit, just freeze the wave. You come out ahead even more because then you force them to extend. Honestly, most people, once they get a solo kill, they're just content pushing up, trying to go for all-ins.
Go to Enchantress here though. Jinx actually, if you saw, picked up the fleet footwork, and the Yuumi did pick up the Guardian. So
right.
They understand that this lane is auto lose, and they're gonna try to mitigate that as best as they can. So hopefully they don't go for any, over eager fights.
The idea is as long as they don't handshake the trades.
Yeah.
They don't walk in and decide, oh yeah, we want to fight this. Even going for so far as to get barrier in the bot lane, knowing that this is a tough lane, right? With the current setup, this does tell me that they are content sitting on the turret and just farming their best they can and try hit CS. It also opens up the rest of the map though at this point, because then if they're under turret, then Volibear is just gonna roam mid. Orianna no escape, could look to make something happen there with the tether from Karma. So right now, I mean, Yuumi honestly can't roam out lane. Like, there's nothing Yuumi can do out lane. So Jinx Yuumi will be sitting under the turret, trying their best to CS as best they can and not miss anything to the turret.
Alright, we see a bit of a funky passing coming up from Bing Suwu. Yes, good name.
Good dessert also.
Ubu. No, but yeah, I tried to puff up a little bit, try to spot out the Orianna, but Orianna as it stands, I don't think... No, he is spotted out right now by the Nocturne, so... They do have a bit of information right now as to where the laner is.
Most people like to position there to sort of dissuade enemies from walking in. Oh, careful. Still gonna hit the second half? Okay. Most people position there to dissuade people from walking in to get wards down on the Raptor. But this is a very aggressive move forward. Now you walk into the lane already, it's like 2/3 chunked out, they still get the Raptor ward. You lose a lot of mid lane prio at this point.
Yep, way too late for her to back off and, you know, regain that health. So he's just gonna have to deal with that disability for a while.
Now the good news is if she did go Biscuit, it would not have been as bad, but I don't think her secondary tree was the Biscuit. We'll have to see if we can confirm that later on. Of course we can check right now, but the Biscuit will be able to top her up in the bot lane. Meanwhile you can see the cheese coming in. This is pretty smart from Valerie and Desire. They know that, well, if I give away my jungle position, I will give away my jungle position if I come to lane early, so they sort of fake it out and just come into lane the same time as the top side. So right now they have no information where the Nocturne started.
Alright, well, we're just gonna have to see how this bot lane plays out, because honestly I think once this, if this...
There you go.
Man, here we go.
Yep, there you go. A lot of damage down onto the Jinx. One more auto attack might just be enough, but instead backing off. Normally when you play this matchup, what is a really good keystone to go for is press the attack. Press the attack is so good against the opponents you want to all in. Conqueror is more of like a sustain trade thing. Press the attack is if you want to get the kill.
Right, at the moment, well, gonna be a bit of a defensive pick from Desire with the, you know, the Conqueror like you said. But overall I think this matchup is gonna be very impressive in favor of the Draven.
Because you do take Conqueror if you want to like look to team fight a bit more. You just auto attack whoever you can hit. Press the attack requires that you hit 3 autos on the same target, which is sometimes tough in team fights. If you don't even get the keystone off, there's 0 value. So Conqueror is more of like, well, we'll approach the team fighting phase and output decent damage still.
Yeah, the thing about this is if this Draven is gonna get a hit, which I'm pretty sure he will at one point or another, he is gonna be so oppressive in these team fights.
Oh, this sucks. Look at where the cannon is, right? So it's higher on health. Ah, you shouldn't have done that. You should have waited for the wave to freeze there because the cannon was higher on health. You could have frozen the wave right there by drawing the aggro over and forcing them to extend out. So there's a misplay coming in from the support.
Alright, this is gonna be a bit more ping pong like we said earlier in the mid lane. Not much action going on. If you take a look at the top side, the Jarvan is pathing towards Crux. He actually might go for a bit of a gank here. You can see that, you know, Rakton is pushed up this far. But the real question is whether or not it's going to be worth, since, you know, the Olaf is a little bit low at the moment.
I like the jungle pathing that came in from Panda. Hold on.
Not respecting the ward.
Yeah, there was a control ward there that was cleared out, but not respecting it whatsoever. Liliac now might just get knocked up. Will come through with the Flag and Drag as well as the slows from the axe, but not picking up the second one did hurt her chances for the kill. Still manages to get out with the flash though, so overall it's a summoner spell blown for a gank attempt on the top side, but like you said, needed to respect the control ward in the Tri-Brush.
Yep, that's a bit of tempo loss to the Jarvan as, you know, the Nocturne is gonna go pick up the Grom from the Enchantress jungle.
I think overall not too bad, because you still blow the flash, you can re-gank that lane.
Alright. I don't think we're going to see much action, honestly, unless this bot lane begins proper, but it's not looking like that's going to be very apparent since the lane is actually pushed on the turret.
Exactly, this is what we're talking about in the loading screen, right? Just now, earlier, the idea of winning lane versus getting lane prio. For sure they're going to be pushed up, like anytime they want to push up they can as Draven and Volibear, but they're not freezing, they're not denying EXP, in terms of CS they're only slightly ahead, so they can't extend their lead as much as they want to in this bottom side.
You say that the lane is starting to push back, so we have to see whether or not they actually decide to go for a bit of a freeze, which I think they're trying to set up here.
So this cutoff point, right? You can freeze right here because Valerie can sit at the edge of the brush and just literally wait for them to walk up and then kill whoever is in range. Auto-attacking the wave is a bad idea because then it forces it to repush. Hold on, mid lane gank coming through here from the Jarvan, who is... Oh my goodness! That is a flop if I've ever seen one. Orianna walking up, getting caught by the Soul Flare, and even though the Flag and Drag came through, there was a bullet to the head for the Orianna.
I mean, the point here is when your Orianna's on 100 health, what are you doing trying to go in for a kill?
I don't even think that was an RQ, it's just like a basic
It was just
Q.
a Q.
Even, perhaps she underestimated the damage coming through. Unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. So the first blood will go the way of the Karma in the mid lane. And with that, the lead extends just a little bit more. Meanwhile, top side, the CS lead has been accrued by the Renekton, who, despite being ganked, is still playing relatively aggressively here.
You want to talk about CS leads? Look at the mid lane. I mean, we talk about this being ping pong, but this Karma has absolutely just been bodying this Orianna with 30 CS.
And why is that so fun? Remember, at the level 1 point, she got chunked out. You lose lane prio, you get zoned out, and then your opponent gets to control the wave. At this level of play, having mid lane wave control is so crucial because it forces your opponent to extend and be in weird positions in the game.
Weird positions this Orianna has been in. I mean,
this is a fuse, man.
You really shouldn't be chunked that much this early in the game by a Karma if you're on Orianna, you know?
It's a roaming level 5 Orianna. Help! It's tough. She's not going to be able to get anything done. They're looking for the gank, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yuumi attaches, and the counter gank comes through from Cappuccino. Valerie now might just get knocked up.
What?
The flash there from the Flag and Drag. She was trying to do the mechanical thing where on the ending half, you flash forward to knock up, but the snap flash from Valerie was good enough to get her out, so overall not too bad. They try to make it happen, but they lose lane prio in terms of mid and jungle.
Alright, that was a bit of a Pepega attempt, but yeah, goal lead now about 2k towards Onyx at 7 minutes, and I'm going to hold for the gank.
Bingsu diverting her movements towards the top half. Very smart. You know that.
Say the whole thing is Bingsu.
Bingsu. I think it's Bingsu with you, man. It's like short form.
It's good stuff.
Keep the weep stuff out of this cast.
I am not a weep.
If I wanted weeps, I'd call Granite on this show, man.
Disclaimer: I'm not a weep.
Okay,
don't weep me up.
Overall, CS lead is still pretty decent in the bot side. It's opening up a bit more as the gank goes in on the top side. Not really in range though. I think they were trying to make something happen to reinforce the attempt on the ult in. Remember, we saw the Renekton and the Olaf, they were duking it out. So it's just to scare him out. Meanwhile, this is a big dive coming in. It's a full wave and up. For some reason, she took the aggression first, but it should still come in. Confirmed. Kill. It's a flash.
Alright, well, we're seeing questionable plays coming across the board. Like everyone, I think, just about everyone right now has been seeing some questionable plays. Fight a mid lane though.
Fight a mid lane, Orianna with no mana. The Ignite coming through. I don't think you want to take this now. Or being used, and Command Protect just enough to get her out. I thought the minion was going to kill her, but no. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, double Cataclysm, and there you go, knocking him up and turning the damage across. This is the mechanic I was talking about. Desire now looking for the kill and cashing in the adoration stacks. Meanwhile, Yuumi getting focused down, Valerie now having to back out. Desire still cutting the damage out pretty decently. The Flag and Drag there and the Cataclysm was denied because of the Majestic Roar coming through from the Volley Bear. It would have been a lot worse had it not been mechanically played out. And no level 6 for the Yuumi, kind of hurt as well because no final chapter was available.
Right, after a series of very questionable mechanical plays, it's nice to see that the Draven Volibear know what they're doing. Counters the gank coming in from Jarvan and is able to just walk out of it alive, no problem.
They burn the heal, they burn the Ignite. They burn the heal, the exhaust, and the barrier rather. So it's a 3-for-4 trade, or 3-for-3 rather.
Volibear finds the Jinx though. Shouldn't actually go in. I think it's way too low for that attempt. So he's just gonna BM on that ward.
Alright, that's what I like to see.
Alright, well, it's Ocean Dragon, so both teams aren't exactly going to be prioritizing it that much. But that being said, I think it is an objective worth looking at the moment, since both junglers don't really have much to do except for farm.
The Onyx though is still looking pretty solid in terms of gold.
Yep.
3.5k is the current lead right now, maybe shy just a few hundred. But overall, the gold is centered on the mid lane as well as the top lane. So the core laners, the solo laners, are really where you want to put your advantages in. It's a good basket to invest your eggs in.
To be fair, I think the advantage is like all over the map. I think everyone here, every lane and the jungler
right,
has tons of gold over the opposing number.
This is the ideal game state if you are drafting to win lane and get lane prio.
It's very oppressive coming in from the side of Onyx right now.
And the chip from the Karma is just so ridiculous. Here comes the gank once more on the bot side. Jarvan is just living down here. Might as well set up a tent. considering how much she's camping this lane. Level 6 now available for the Yuumi means that final chapter gives additional CC in the gank.
Yep, Onyx senses something funky going on at that bot side, so they just do back off and places a control ward in Tribush in case Jarvan tries to wrap around.
But because Jarvan has been, repeatedly ganking the bot half, Nocturne has accrued quite a big CS lead, and hold on here, running away. Dazai has to be careful. Great stand aside to knock Panda Smiley away, and now Valerie, there you go to knock up once more, not landing the follow through on the flag and drag. That's the mechanic you're talking about. And it's so dangerous because consistently you fail to CC chain the opponent.
You would think that after trying it about 3 times now, you would try something different if you're this Jarvan, but no, continues to face plant into the Volibear, keeps getting E'd and keeps getting knocked out of the...
I have to admire her tenacity. That is how much I wish I was resilient in life's obstacles. Fail once, forget it. I'll keep going, I'll keep trying. Eventually one day I'm gonna get it.
Okay, Jinx has to be a bit careful here.
Dodging away. Remember that the Majestic Roar can be used to knock Yuumi out of her dash as well.
Oh, okay.
So if she's using the W, the U and me, and you flash for a Majestic Roar, she gets knocked out. And you can actually find a free kill right there.
Alright.
I told you, man, tenacity. They're going in final chapter onto the Zai. She's taking a lot of damage. The flag and drag and the Cataclysm finally gives them the kill. And now Valerie's the target. She gets the return kill and the counter teleport coming through from the support Karma. I say support, it's more of a mid lane damage Karma. No utility whatsoever to be found here. Shockwave not available for the Orianna to be used, rather holding back on that skill. Normally we see a Karma teleport in, you're like, well, there's only so much damage it could do, but dude, 3-0-0 with the Loon's Echo. RQ, see you later, man.
That's a huge Karma. It's a 102 CS 258. This game is just pretty much for fun at the moment. And one thing that we have to draw attention to was how Volibear was able to sustain through his passive. Is so potent at this stage in the game that you really can't kill him, not even 2v1 like that.
My only one regret was that the Draven didn't get to cash in Adoration stacks because traditionally that's how you'd see Draven players snowball. I think in LCK earlier this week we had a Draven game where the Draven cashed in, I think, 2.5k gold worth of stacks. That's a lot, right? That's that's almost 2 BF swords. So as we pause, I wonder if we can swap over to see how many stacks the Draven has. Is that a thing we could do maybe? Oh, 61. Okay, that's not a lot. The math on it works out to be, I think you get 25 or 50 base gold plus 2 times the stacks. So if you had 61 stacks now, you get 122 plus 25. That's not a lot, right? It's like a pair of boots, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, boots are worth, I guess.
Boots or a dagger. Yeah.
At the moment, he is still trying to get to his first item breakpoint, which is the Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
I think that's standard on Draven. So once he gets there, I think we should see Draven begin to come online.
It's actually quite scary when Draven gets Bloodthirster because then, considering you are in the precision sort of mastery tree, you can take overheal, and your lifesteal gives you an additional shield on top of that. So you actually have a good deal of buffer HP in terms of shields, right, to play with and play more aggressively with.
Hold up, overheal stacks on top of
Bloodthirster. Yeah, it does. That's why it's so good. Yeah.
Learned something new today. Anyway,
I think it was a DC coming through. I'm not sure what's going on. Currently, we're checking with the officials, but as we understand, it is a unfortunate disconnect coming through.
Yep, Karma disconnect. 3-0-0, you really don't want to play this game without her. So
how do you feel about the Nocturne build? This is like the most chat Nocturne build I've ever seen.
It's
serrated Dirk into what possibly is a Duskblade, right? Don't even go for the Warrior Enchant. Just full chat build.
It's 12 minutes in game and you're like what, the 5k goal hit? Doesn't matter. You just full chat. I'm gonna run at you. I'm gonna roll you over.
All right, going for the assassination, and then the ultra chat, like the proper chat build, right? Is you go Duskblade into like GA. That is the one where like your opponents just don't get to play League of Legends.
Because look at this. If you're this Nocturne, and once you get your Duskblade, who on the enemy team can you not assassinate?
I feel like maybe a Jarvan with Cinderhawk, but at this point it's Jarvan Warrior, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I think you get a pretty decent kill on anyone you try to ult in. Olaf might put up a fight, but if you time your CC properly, I think you might be able to pierce through the health that he has.
Yeah, absolutely. Wondering when we're gonna go back into this game though. If you take a look at the map, Oriana's actually popping up towards top side. Level 9 roaming Oriana at 12 minutes a bit.
The legendary Oriana ganks.
Oh, man, so sad.
I mean, at this point, because you're so far behind lane, you kind of have to force something on the map. You have to make something happen, right? And if it means journeying to top, journeying to bot to reinforce ganks, so be it. There's really nothing much you can do because in mid lane you're just getting dunked.
Yeah, we've seen her do that quite a lot of times this game. Unfortunately, to no effect so far. So we really have to question whether or not at this point it's worth following the Karma if she does, teleport or even just walk to the bot lane. Maybe it's more worth you just stay mid and try to farm and take some turret plates.
Yeah, there's still about a minute and a half, slightly less on the turret plates, so you could look to chip down at least 1 or 2. If you solo those out, you get 2. It's about 320 gold. Decent. Also, like that the Karma went for just a single fairy charm to give additional mana regen. I like it when players do that, like min-maxing, right? If you have 150 gold and you don't know what you could possibly buy and you could use the mana, just pick up a fairy charm and sell it later.
2 control wards. I mean, that's a supportive Karma.
Yeah,
play.
this is the chat Karma.
It's chat Karma.
Go
It's
for
a chat
Ludens,
team.
yeah, chat team. Go for the Ludens. Full on damage Karma. What is Athene's Unholy Ground? Never heard of it.
What's that?
Ardent
Don't know.
Sensor? Nah, man. These items don't do damage. I'm not buying them.
Okay.
We're just having fun on stream at this point. It's casual Saturday morning.
Well, it's not morning anymore, but
Oh, it's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, well,
FSL Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesian stream qualifiers. Thank you guys for joining us once more. We should get the technical stuff out of the way soon. Hopefully, when the PCs reset, we should be able to jump back into game. But for all of you in chat that are watching, supporting your friends, I know we have a couple of Onyx fans in the house and a couple of Enchantress fans in the house. Thank you for sticking by us and catching the stream. Of course, if you have any comments you want to flame the casters, feel free. We do have relatively thick skins. Chufan maybe not so much, but like, I'm cool, man.
Oh, did you just say I don't have thick skin? I am so offended. Alright, Karma actually is back into the game right
alright.
now. So shouldn't be too long. One thing I want to draw attention to is the vision line in the bot side river. We see a lot of control wards coming in from the side of Enchantress. So it does show that they want to prioritize this dragon pit, even though it is an ocean.
Right, yeah. Even though it is an ocean, it's not the objective itself. It's the idea of baiting people into the objective, right? If you say, well, if you guys want to think it's free and come over, we'll just hard contest you there and force a fight. Fortunately, the player, despite connecting, has not resumed the game. But like you said, Ocean might just be the next point of contention in this game.
Right, okay, we're getting back into game, boys. 3, 2, 1, woo!
The most unenthusiastic resume that I've ever heard in a while.
Let me give it a golf clap as well. Alright, Oriana gang, let's go!
She's strolling up. There's a control ward. This might happen, boys.
Oh, now
Moving
she's
up the river.
up.
She's storming up the river, and Liliac is gonna spot out this gang coming through. No surprise.
It's not a question mark ping when she walked out of that bush. It's not even Oriana's there. It's like,
why is Oriana here? Normally, if like it's a Jami, like, hey, danger, back off. But this is like, guys, who never report missing? Going all in on the Yumi, and like I said, the moment she's isolated, she goes down and finding the solo kill and the cash-ins on the Jinx. The Zai gets the adoration stacks down. Money in the bank for the Draven, and now Panda Smiley has to escape. She has to make this juke coming through, but we'll get spotted out. Nah, I don't think she's going anywhere, boys.
Okay. So at this point, if you're Enchantress, you are hella tilted. Oriana went top, came back down, so like his turret lost half his health. That's so unfortunate that honestly.
Oh, close.
Okay, well, we actually might see our first Jinx loss today.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty likely.
Unfortunate, but it might just come through, and largely due to the fact that we're talking about how this bot lane is so difficult to even survive, right? Jinx Yumi against an aggressive engaged support like Volibear, there is really nothing much to do even with Jarvan living bot lane. Rift Herald will be activated and we'll take a quick charge down the mid lane. Meanwhile, Bingsu, Lunen's Echo Chad build just pushing non-stop.
It actually is a wasted Rift Herald.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't actually get the charge off, you didn't do much damage. Oh, what is that damage?
Oh, here we go. Shockwave only pulling the Karma in, Cataclysm back in. I don't think you want to be there, my friend. As Rift Herald gives a bit of a how do you do, pushes They're Jarvan back, and now they have to disengage because the teleports are coming in. Liliac arriving to support her teammates.
Alright, not a wasted Rift Herald. Does get a charge off.
Oh.
Be careful. Be careful. Alright, not caught shopping.
I really wanted to see the chat flash X to the back. Oh, straight up Vikings move that would have been.
Alright, well, you do see Onyx Esports here actually just gonna back off and reset. Draven should actually be able to take this turret, no problem.
The wave is still pretty decent, and she doesn't have much to work with.
Yeah, but you see, no one's going to defend this.
That is true. Valerie here moving into the bot lane with an inside track, so like you said, not really around to defend it are the Enchantress goes in the bot lane. And Desire should be able to claim the turret for herself. Get the solo goal, in fact, would be good too.
Be realistic.
Alright.
At this point, you really have to question whether or not Enchantress will be able to get back into this game, honestly. This Draven should have enough gold to stave off the scaling that Jinx will bring into the mid game. So overall, Onyx Esports are in a very strong spot. I don't see them giving it up anytime soon.
The discipline is more or less shown here as well. We could see earlier in the mid lane, despite trying to go for the Jarvan, it was calm and collected. They backed off, they didn't dive, they didn't give away any shutdowns, because if you look on your scoreboard, there is close to about a grand worth of gold in terms of shutdown money.
Grand worth of gold in shutdown money, 10 grand of gold in the discrepancy at 16 minutes.
Liliac has to be careful. The Jarvan walking in, question mark pinks? No, it's the danger pinks this time.
Oh!
As the roams come through, Cappuccino, remember this Nocturne has that ultimate available, can join the fight from a screen away if she wants to, level 10 only, not level 11 just yet. So the range is a bit short.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, they do spot out a Nocturne, so this Olaf knows that he has to be careful that the gank can come through if he oversteps.
If you're Olaf at this point, you're comfortable farming under turret, but you don't want to stay. You don't want to get dove here.
Right now, just wondering when Onyx is gonna go, that go button again, look for another fight to continue pushing their lead, and whether or not Enchantress will be able to answer it. Because right now, I'm not gonna lie, they're in a very, very weak position.
Yeah, 10k behind at 17 minutes. It's no laughing matter, of course. Like you mentioned earlier, the point of this deficit, a lot of the goal spread across the team, not just on single members, right? It's not like you kill the rank, then you win the game. You kill the ADC, you win the game, right? Everyone has a part in this fight, and goes all around as, whoa, it's not going to be a bloodthirster here, it's going to be straight up Infinity Edge for Desire.
Oh man. This is the ultimate chat move.
Yeah, it's the alpha move coming in on the top side, again coming through. Valerie faking it out, using the Rolling Thunder, but turning away last minute will force the the Olaf to use the Ragnarok instead.
I really like this from Onyx Esports though, zooming out a little bit. You can see that all 5 of their control wards are placed towards the top side. What this signals to me is that they want to go for this Baron the moment it comes up. And I think they're in a state to do it because they are just so very strong.
Yeah, they have the tools. Oh, wow, a lot of damage down onto the Jinx kiting around. Bingsu now with the tether. Might be looking for the Orianna. Shockwave pulls her back in. And where's the discipline we were talking about? Super Mega Death Rocket gives the gold over. And now Cappuccino finds herself in a poor position. Of course, the Jinx did go down, but still, the shutdown goal more than enough to compensate her death.
Yeah, well, Karma's this poke champion that once you get sizable damage in, you think you have the ability to just walk on the turret. You have the shield, but sometimes it's not enough. And that was one of those times where Jinx was able to capitalize. Unfortunately, Jinx does also lose her life, so it balances out a little bit, only the shutdown goal going over.
Have you ever played Call of Duty before where there's this perk, when you die you drop a grenade, and this is what like Bingsu feels like. Whenever she dies, she just throws like this soul flare out like, you're coming down with me, and they both die. This is what it feels like.
First time she's died, so.
No, that's fair enough.
Only one grenade so
Earlier,
far.
no, in the mid lane, the gang came in, she threw a grenade out.
And she didn't die, so perks to her. Alright, Dragons should be falling in the way of Onyx Esports. Enchantress should not be trying to contest this.
Speaking of that, I think they're feeling a bit handsy. They're moving forward aggressively. The Olaf here is leading the charge, and off the flank there is an Orianna and Jarvan. If they caught out, this could be a very messy fight as Valerie falls very low. In the center of it all is the Olaf going in. Multiple low health bars, but it doesn't matter. Desire is just dishing out the damage. All the whirling left on the way back. Finds another one as well. Valerie just jumping in. Bingsu, no! Not with the last stand, not like this!
Where's your grenade now?
No grenade! Oh, the kites! Oh, the kites and the super mega rocket! No! Eventually, Liliac is gonna get the kill credit. They're just playing around at this point. A messy fight for Onyx, but at the end, it's still fine because the Zai is alive, has cashed in the checks, money in the bank, and is pushing out mid lane.
Yeah, there was a pretty messy fight. I think you said that, but there wasn't much to talk about in the earlier stages. I think everyone just got chunked out by the Draven. Afterwards, though, we can see a bit of overconfidence from Onyx Esports as they send the Draven to chase the Orianna, which allows the Jinx that freeway to begin kiting the Olaf and Karma, and they do pick up the kills.
You still have to respect the Jinx because remember, she got an influx of gold earlier from shutting down Bingsu.
Yep.
And that resulted in Infinity Edge and a Zeal. So now she can reset and buy another set of items after getting that double right there. So in terms of gold, yes, she's behind the Draven who has cashed in multiple checks from POSB, but still not too far behind.
Why POSB, may I?
It's your favorite local bank, man.
Okay. Sure. Anyway, hashtag not sponsored. Well, yeah, I think this Jinx, very strong champion in the current meta, especially here in this tournament.
If you go like most of the tier lists, they would say that Jinx is actually still tier 1, tier 2.
Yep. But I think in previous tournaments we haven't seen her much. We have seen her, but not too much success. That's what I mean. So right now, what you want to do is if you try to go for these fights, you have to focus down the Jinx. And I think you can do that. You have the Renekton, you have the Renekton, you have the Nocturne, but I'm gonna hold that as BC fight.
Needs to get in a stun. Nope, not in range in time, and now they're caught on the Chompers. Two big bruisers in the middle of it all. Gets caught out by the Cataclysm, and Valerie now dealing damage, but will eventually go down to the damage from the Jinx. They will lose a single member as the Whirling Death comes by and Desire finds the kill on the Yuumi, and now Jinx has fallen, and this is a free-for-all brawl as they leap forward. Liliac wants to slice and dice, but the Flag and Drag is gonna allow Panda Smiley to get out from across the map, managing to assist her team, and you can't underestimate the damage of this roster.
And that's what I was talking about, right? When you see the Jinx, you have the ability to jump on her, and you just pull the trigger, you go on her, you kill her, and then you win the fight, because that's all their damage gone.
Snap Shield coming in from Cappuccino to get the bonus attack speed. Remember 9.16 Nocturne's bonus on that spell shield has gone up from 20 to 40%, so not really all too useful, but when it comes to sieging, still decent. Split pushing, the legendary split pushing Draven on the top side.
It doesn't matter at this point, honestly. I mean, look what, you're 14k gold ahead at 22 minutes. This is a FF situation for Enchantress. I'm not gonna lie.
True Fun is all about the brutal truth here, and it's looking dire, ladies and gentlemen. I still believe they could win a fight with a wombo combo. Cataclysm into a 5-man Shockwave into a Super Mega Death Rocket, I believe. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty much donezo here.
Okay, well, I think the next thing that they can look for right now, I think, even though I think Onyx Esports is strong enough to just take another fight and win through there. I think the best play, you can go for the optimal play, is going for this Baron that is actually pinged out.
Baron would be a great option here. Remember, this composition has a lot of tools to turn on the enemy the moment they walk in to check this Baron. Paranoia from Nocturne allows her to leap across multiple screens, and the Mantra Inspire shields on multiple people gives them a speed boost to chase up. So, of course, you would be very concerned if you're checking this area, but the Baron bait into a turn, I think, not just the Baron itself, but turning off the Baron would be a good choice too, if you are Onyx here.
Yeah, but as it stands, Onyx is playing pretty safe, not actually going for Baron just yet. You can see that Karma and Draven are positioning toward the bot side to go for that Dragon.
Oh, in what world does the Orianna go Banshees first and hope to survive?
In this world, because she's so far behind.
Yeah, she can't sustain against the poke. There's no way she's gonna survive the Mantra Soul Flares coming in. She needs the magic resist and the spell shield to keep steady in these fights.
And ironically, right, Orianna, Karma was supposed to be the lane that went even. And it all harkens back to, that level 1 fight that Karma did manage to chunk a ton of damage off of Orianna's health bar.
Also super greedy to go for Ignite. If you went for Teleport, you could pretty much just soak the first few waves, back off, reset, and come back in. But because she did go for the Ignite, thinking that, she could get solo kills, well, failed to happen, and it all cascades down into the situation we find ourselves in.
Oh, even the barrier would have been a good choice. I have no idea why she went for the Ignite. So that's just a bit questionable for me.
Bit of aggression down onto the Renekton in the top side, but this signals to Onyx that Dragon is open since Jarvan was spotted there.
Yep, third Drake over to Onyx Esports is an Infernal, so that just continues to build onto their monumental advantage at this point.
Tempest Drake, this is the Infernal, Cloud, and Ocean combo. Moving in, there are a couple of wards here. I think they don't necessarily have to clear this one out. In fact, they could start this. There you go, because there's no vision with the control ward there. And remember, the turn potential extremely strong, especially even after they finish the Baron. So I don't think that Enchantress should be looking to check this one, much less walk up.
Yeah, look, Onyx find the perfect time to go for it. Top is pushing, mid is pushing. They just take the Baron, and while Enchantress is wave clearing,
don't walk
just
up.
Sneak it away.
Don't walk up. You already lost the Baron. Don't take this fight. Don't handshake this. You probably lose if you handshake this fight. And oh well, looks like they're going.
Or not.
Looking to reset.
Very tense situation.
Yeah. You can reset at least. Okay, that's good. There's no reason for you to take that fight then.
Well, at this point, you take the fight, you lose. You don't take the fight, you still lose, just a little later. But yeah, I think that was the correct play. You know, that little later delay could allow them to maybe, I don't know, capitalize on a mistake that Onyx happens to make. I don't know.
I see the items coming in from multiple members of Onyx right now. It's the Mercurius Scimitar and Enchantress Shard for Draven, whereas mid lane Karma is starting to look a bit more meta in terms of the item choices. Now we see the themes, we see the RN sensor, which is a bit more supportive, less Chad if you will.
Yeah, she realizes that, I can't dive towers, so what's the point, right? I might
support your team because the Nocturne has a GA, he's gonna be diving, and she's gonna be diving rather. Draven's gonna be walking forward aggressively, trying to hit Qs. So all you have to do is stand behind, shoot them up, and make sure they feel comfortable.
Oh, feeling very comfortable as Olaf tries to run in. I think this Olaf is a little way too overeager. I mean, he's 1-3-1, and we have seen repeatedly that he keeps running up towards Onyx. So
Why
one day that's gonna come and bite him in the butt.
Why Swifties though? Why would you get boots of swiftness? There's not much slows coming through from the enemy, and you definitely need the ninja Tabis in lane. So this is a curious itemization choice coming through. I feel like Tabis would have been a better option, not just for lane, but even with Draven as well.
When you're about 18k, go behind you, right? Boots of swiftness, so you can run to your next game.
Oof! That is BM, yeah, that is BM.
Alright, okay, maybe a little too much.
Push coming in. Remember, mid inhibitor did fall earlier, and right now they're looking. Mid inhibitor turret rather did fall earlier, and they're looking for the inhibitor. A good chunk of damage onto the Jarvan, who has no choice but to commit. And handshaking the fight is a terrible idea now. The Orianna is the next to fall, as the Draven wants to cash in the stacks. Nope, it's gonna be stolen away from Scumbag support. Rest of the team trickling in one by one, but in the end, we know how this one ends, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a very easy pickup, couple of pickups in fact, from Onyx here. Enchantress rolls over and will find themselves dropping here and eventually being eliminated from the tournament.
Yeah, a bit of a valiant effort coming in from Enchantress. We did see some signs of life, especially from the Jinx. But I think overall, when you drafted that composition and your Orianna lost so much health in the early game, I think it really just put you in that hole where it was so difficult for them to climb out of.
We were talking about this during draft. Your opponents drafted winning, if not lane prior lanes. If you fall behind, there's nothing much you can do to sort of climb back up. You have decent wave clear, but they have so many tools to pull the trigger that you just kind of end up turtling and losing over time.
Right, so unfortunate for Enchantress, I think they do drop out of this tournament, but we will continue to see
Onyx move on to the next set of matches. So for the lower brackets, they kind of have to play their way through all the way until they make it into the losers final, which qualifies them into the winners bracket semi-final, I believe. So that's the one where it's going to be super tricky, but of course all the opportunities still available there. Of course, you saw earlier on your screen that the Karma did 14,000 damage to champions in that game. By far one of the largest margins we've seen in a while. For now, guys, we will be going for a short break, but when we come back, I believe we will still be taking a look at the lower brackets, and we'll have that out for you relatively soon as well. Stay tuned.